What is going on, FA Nation? John Pemba here with James Grande. Welcome into another edition of the Fantasy Alarm MLB DFS Playbook Live Show. We are here for the Wednesday 10-game main slate. Middle of day baseball action early on. You saw Chris Bassett strike out 10 in Atlanta Braves. Spencer Strider's return. Good little day, a little appetizer. Set the table for this 10-game main slate where pitching is, our guy Keith Eister did the playbook today. He messaged us earlier, and he's like, I don't really want to write about any of these guys. And that was kind of the sentiment that we had doing the preview show as well. A pretty difficult spot to pick and choose your pitching, but we'll do our best again to break it down for you. We have some lineups out so we can know what matchups that we might be looking to target today, and hopefully have another successful night of MLB DFS action. Grande, how are we doing today, man?
I'm going to go on record and say tonight's pitching is going to be better than last night's pitching.
Well, we probably can't be more, I'm not going to say wrong, but wrong about last night's pitching than we were. We had some tough outings, no doubt. The chalk didn't necessarily pay off. Tyler Mahle, Yusei Kikuchi, huge nights for them. Jeffrey Springs, rough first inning, not so much. Ryan Beppio, smoked. But you know what? Turn the page. Get ready to go. Maybe we go back to another Tampa Bay Ray pitcher today. I don't know.
No. What is wrong with you?
What do you mean? You got Romy Gonzalez hitting fifth today, man. What do you mean?
Yeah, Romy Gonzalez hitting 600 this year.
Yeah, against lefties.
Yeah, and now he's playing in a minor league park.
Yeah, we'll see. Richard in here saying it's Grande time. Got a Grande fan in the chat. It's all right. My feelings aren't hurt. It's all right. Let's just get into this. We go position by position. We build a lineup at the end of the show. And we get it ready to go. Aaron Nola is your top price starter at $9,000 today. Jose Soriano, $8,800. Colby Conway and I had Soriano in our fantasy spin video this morning as our starting pitcher. Brandon Pfaadt, 87. Got a whole bunch of guys in the 8K range. Tell me where you want to start the conversation today, Grande.
Yeah, I mean, pitcher stinks. I was just kidding at the top. It's not, I don't know if it's going to be any better than yesterday. Look, I think on slates like this, I typically will just go with approach of like, who has a ceiling, who is a good pitcher, and even in a tough matchup, who can strike people out. Mm-hmm. I think Aaron Nola, who has had ups and downs throughout his career, not this year included. I think Aaron Nola has a lot of the time underwhelmed to expectation, but he has mostly been a good strikeout pitcher throughout his career. This is a spot that is semi-scary. The Giants are a top 5 offense in a lot of categories that you don't want to face. But a category that they are high in as well is strikeout rate. They strike out like 25% of the time against righties. So honestly, where pitching is scary everywhere, I am more prone to using actually good major league pitchers. So I'm good with Nola. I am always good with Jose Soriano if he keeps the ball on the ground. If he keeps the ball on the ground, which he does a lot, he's typically hard to hit. So I like Soriano. Brendan
Not many people going to Soriano, by the way, today, under 10%.
Yeah, I mean, it's a that game has 9.5 implied runs, clearly the best on the board. But it is largely because of one side of that game. Yes. Truthfully, I know this kind of will contradict the other side, but like it is a good pitcher's park. Like Texas ballpark is big. So I like Soriano. Brandon Pfaadt is very interesting because he hasn't struck as many people out as we probably anticipated from last year to this year. A lot of the underlying numbers for Brandon Pfaadt have not been good. And you kind of highlighted it like, yes, Miami strikes out a lot, but they've also been like, their overarching numbers against righties are not good. They have a few very hot hitters, and like they do have some hitters in their lineup that are playing way above their heads.
The power from the left side too, which is it's just the attack spot for Fott.
Yeah, and like that is obviously a little bit scary when he's 8,700 and getting ownership. Essentially, no interest in Bryce Miller because I prefer the other side of that game. I prefer the Reds offense more than I like Bryce Miller. Which is interesting because he's pitched so well and the Yankees strike out so much. But I mean, their team ISO against lefties is like as good as it gets. So, it's the constant battle with using a pitcher against the Yankees. It's like, all right, they're playing in a small ballpark. They might have 8 strikeouts and they might give up 5 runs on 4 home runs. Like that. Yeah. But I think he's been good. And then Gavin Williams, we just had a question on Gavin Williams. I've been like coming around on this a little bit. I think Baltimore's offense is obviously good. They're top half of the league in basically every category against right-handed pitching. Tyler O'Neill was scratched a while ago. So a guy who typically has hit lefties, but just in terms of thump, he is a thumper. That is just what he does. So weakens the lineup a little bit. And maybe he can build off that last start where, the first 2 starts, 74, 75 pitches, just struggled through each of them. And then the start of that White Sox game was also terrible, but he mowed down the lineup the second time through and got through 5 innings, 1 earned run, 7 strikeouts. I don't mind Gavin Williams because, again, you're talking about pitcher talent. Like he's a talented pitcher against an offense that is top half of the league good, maybe got a little worse without Tyler O'Neill. And all these pitchers look so similar. No one's playing them. I'd be okay with it. I think you can, without doubt, you could say like Gavin Williams in basically any situation should never be 20% lesser owned than Bobby Miller, right?
I was going to say, we might as well get to it. We spent a lot of time talking about Bobby Miller last night. He is currently, and this could fluctuate as we get closer to roster lock, which is at 6:35 today. We got an earlier start time.
Yep.
That could move. Currently, your highest rostered starting pitcher. We assumed this could be the case because it's at all costs just pitch against Colorado and see what happens. This is a guy, though, with an 8 walks per 9 at AAA this year.
At AAA.
8 walks per 9. Now, the K per 9 is obviously okay as well, and they're big favorites on the board. So there's obvious win equity if he can just last long enough.
Get through 5 innings, right?
Yeah, just get through 5 innings here, right? So, like, a lot of people were playing Bobby Miller. I said on the show that if a lot of people were playing Bobby Miller, I wasn't going to play Bobby Miller, and I think that's just the route I'm going to take.
Yeah,
he really hasn't shown to be a great major league pitcher. Last year, a lot of struggles, minor leagues, a lot of struggles. Difficult to trust the guy with an 8 walks per 9. So if 30%, 26%, in large field tournaments, maybe higher in single entry tournaments, which you and I play and a lot of, are going to Bobby Miller, I'm going to fade Bobby Miller today. We liked Osvaldo Bido. The field also likes Osvaldo Bido today. I'd be more comfortable attacking this matchup against Chicago today with Bido at $7,200, and then taking a flyer on one of the other guys that we've already discussed up top. I also like Mitchell Parker, which I said on the show. Again, Pittsburgh, some really bad numbers against left-handed pitching. I wouldn't mind necessarily going here either. Bailey Falter is on the other side of that matchup. He's pretty dreadful.
Yeah, he's bad. And Washington's actually been pretty powerful against lefties. That'd be the only thing I'd say, especially when you factor in that Falter start against the Yankees. Like that was his downfall. And he allowed 2 home runs and just got waxed. Washington 155 ISO against lefties is 10th in baseball. So I probably don't go there. I would just play Bido for a couple hundred more. That's my first plug and play of the day. I'm not like Osvaldo Bido's biggest fan. I've been very firm on that, but the White Sox are terrible against righties. He has navigated a lot of issues against better offenses, especially the Padres, than the White Sox are going to be. So I'm good just playing Beto. I largely agree on your Bobby Miller point. Like, it could be the downfall of both of us in this show if we don't play Bobby Miller at 30%, and that's in large field stuff. So you have to assume he's probably, if this doesn't move, he's probably up near 40% in single entries and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm okay fading Bobby Miller at 4. We saw like, even like last night, for example, like Landon Knack, right? Who I don't think either of us are very like fond of Landon. I am not. I am like his he is couldn't get through 5 innings. He was a big favorite. He 65 pitches, 4 1/3, 2 strikeouts. I mean, it's not always like, oh, I have to play this guy because he's in a bad spot. If they are just not good pitchers, you do not have to play them. And on top of that, the kicker here is the ownership. Like, it's just something that I'm going to stay away from. And if it beats me, so be it. If you're playing multiple lineups, obviously, like, get exposure. But for those first-time watchers / viewers like Darren here, John and I play single entry. So, like, you're gonna hear us take more stances on stuff like that. But obviously, if you're playing multiple entries, you can get shares of Miller. I do agree on your Mitchell Parker sentiment. Obviously another guy who doesn't strike a lot of people out.
He could, though. Could strike people out today.
He could. He's also been quite lucky. But I'm Pittsburgh, Cabrian Hayes hitting third and Tommy Pham in the middle of their lineup isn't exactly like scaring me away from using Mitchell Parker.
Sure, certainly not. And that's kind of where I'm at. And that's even kind of an even money game too. There's no like heavy favorite one way or the other. So, I think that you could go and bank on the offense that's performing better in Washington, because Pittsburgh's offense really just is not still doing absolutely anything there. Is there anybody else that you would look at today when it comes to starting pitching?
Well, I was going to ask you. I mean, you mentioned Zach Littell. Like,
yeah,
he is getting ownership. Obviously, Boston is without Alex Bregman today.
No Christian Campbell either.
No Christian Campbell. The lineup is obviously a little condensed. He was not a bad pitcher mostly last year, surface level stuff. I would say he was a little worse when you look at like righties had a 148 ISO. They had a 170 expected ISO against him last year. 176 expected ISO against lefties too. So like that largely is park related, especially when you factor in where they were playing last year to this year.
Sure.
I am not like, I know what you're saying when it comes to Boston. They still have, like, you and I have done this show for a long time. And there's a lot of instances where you and I have been like, well, look what happens when they drop off after number 4.
Yeah.
But if Jarren Duran and Rafael Devers and Trevor Story all get on and Story hits, or the first two get on and Story hits a 3-run home run, doesn't matter. It does not matter because Duran hit a home run yesterday. He's heating up. Rafael Devers is heating up. Trevor Story's been just good the whole year. Like,
they'll have Wilyer Abreu.
Wilyer Abreu, who's awesome. So I get what you're saying with depth of lineup.
Yeah, I'm actually, I said that obviously a little bit in jest because we liked Pepio and he got absolutely rocked yesterday. Pepio is a far more talented pitcher than Littell. I am really not interested in Littell. Again, I'd rather pitch Parker. I know you were worried about the pitch count. If we get 5 innings out of Clark Schmidt today, like I feel good about that, right? Like the Royals offense, another offense that you look at their lineup, like they have some bats that should, obviously Bobby Witt's always capable. Salvi Perez, Vinny Pasquantino, like those guys are very capable offensive players. They have not really shown to be that good of an offense so far early on. If Clark Schmidt is at all able to go, and do we have a note? Like, is he going to go 75, 80 pitches today? Because if you tell me I'm getting 5 innings out of Clark Schmidt today, he might get a win out of that, and like then you're looking at 14 or 15 fantasy points.
There has been nothing. Boone basically said like he's just excited. There wasn't like anyone noting on like pitch count and whatnot. He threw low 60s in his final start prior to making this debut. My only hesitation, I said it last night, would be this isn't a guy coming off a leg injury or a hand injury or a blister issue, or it was, oh crap, my shoulder is dead. Sure. And then they shut him down and he starts throwing, and now he was great in his rehab, minor league rehab, obviously, but he was great. But like, we saw it a lot of like times, right? Beginning of the season with pitchers making their first starts, 70 pitches, right? And this is a guy who didn't really have all of spring. He had some, and then he got shut down and made 2 rehab starts and 61 pitches with the max. So I don't disagree. It might just be something you take a shot on because like
it's so bad.
It can't get worse, right? Like it's so
and obviously no one's going there either. Clark Schmidt, again, another guy under 5%. Robbie Ray's 15%. It is a lefty. It is against Philadelphia. They do have a lot of lefties in that lineup, and you are chasing some strikeouts.
Yep.
The walks have been brutal. 9 walks in his last 10 innings pitched during that stretch. He's obviously very capable of limiting damage. Thoughts here on this Robbie Ray matchup?
So like, this is a little interesting, John. Just looking at the Philly numbers, a team that has historically been good against lefties, right? Like, not a team you ever use pitching against when it comes to lefties, especially when there's a life event and there's a lefty on the mound, right?
Yeah, they have a couple of guys that hit lefties well. Obviously, Harper and Schwarber, their 2 best players, are left-handed, so that maybe hits them a little bit.
They're 20th in ISO. Pretty solid, like 8th in OPS, 708 team OPS, that's fine. 26% strikeout rate against lefties this year. And they've had the 6th most at-bats against lefties this year. Look, I said it when I was talking about Aaron Nola. On the flip side, it's the same thing I think for Robbie Ray. You are on these slates where bad pitching exists, or pitchers that are like in bad spots and not necessarily bad pitchers, like Bubic against the Yankees, perfect example. You're just looking for strikeout upside. I think there might be some serious strikeout upside with Ray. Obviously, the walks.
How did he get a win pitching 4 innings against the Yankees?
That was the rain shortened game.
Okay.
I believe that was the rain shortened game. Who started that game? They went.
I thought generally you had to go 5, but I guess it's up to the official scorer.
Was that the rain shortened game?
I don't even remember. Stroman pitched in that game apparently.
Yeah, Stroman got hurt. That was the rain shortened game.
Okay.
It
went like 6 and he pitched 4 innings. Basically, is what happened there. I guess.
I think it. Yeah. I'm gonna figure that out because you are correct. I don't know how he qualified for a win unless his significant other or a family member was the official scorekeeper. I am unsure how that took place.
Obviously,
this was the game. This was the game. 6. It went 5.5 innings, and it was called after rain. That's what I thought.
Oh, there you go. Okay. Again, obviously, he has managed to escape a lot of damage here. It is a road start, the Philly ballpark. Maybe a little difficult, but for chasing strikeouts, I don't necessarily hate it. Because again, there's not a lot of great options pitching today.
No.
Is there anybody else that you would like to highlight here?
No.
Okay. On to catcher. We highlighted Cal Raleigh last night. I haven't really moved off that stance building my lineups today. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, that hasn't been something that I've really wavered from. If you wanted to spend up Will Smith, Shea Langoliers, K Bear, all in good spots. K Bear hitting third against Billy Falter's good. I like Cal Raleigh a lot. We kind of thought Darno would be in the lineup. Hoppy is still out with an injury. He's hitting fifth, $3,100. That one feels really.
He's been bad, but this is a get right spot, right?
It is a get right spot, and that's going to be the chalk. Like that's going to be where everyone goes.
Yeah, Darren asked, "Do we like Angels today?" Yeah, everybody likes the Angels today.
Yeah, Angels are significantly higher owned than everybody else.
Yeah, from what I'm looking at of the hitters today, the Angels have 5 of the top 7 ownership plays. So, Patrick Corbin Day, everybody, welcome to the show.
Yeah. 5.3 implied runs too. That's second on the slate behind the Dodgers. Like,
there's the other reason I like Soriano. Like, even if you think he gets hit a little bit, they're big favorites today in terms of implied run total. So,
yep.
You could definitely still get a win and give up a couple of runs there. Bo Naylor has a punt option against Dean Kramer today. What do you think?
He's always the guy that can run into one.
I mean, obviously, at this price, if he just gives you the 7, 7, and 6, you're a winner. So you're good to go there. In college, there's a rule: if you disclose for the game, you're limiting an SP. I don't think that's the case in the MLB. If they pitch the most innings in a win, the official scorer can award them the win. But then, as James said, this was a rain shortened game, which is probably the reason he ended up getting that one either. Anyway. I got nothing else for options though.
Let's go to first.
First base we go. Shohei 65, Harper Freeman, your top group there, but Tyler Soderstrom 48. Do we got a wind check here in Chicago today?
Yeah, I believe there's wind blowing in. I think it's wind in. Yeah, 9 miles an hour in.
All right, a little negligible then. It's not like it's 20 whipping out like it was last night. Soderstrom, though, your league leader in home runs. He's right there. Josh Naylor homered last night, 4,700 for him. Mentioned Manzardo, the power numbers Creamer's allowing, the lefties, huge. He's $4,600. What are your thoughts on top group here at first base?
Yeah, that Shohei guy is pretty good.
He's
that Freeman guy, also pretty good. Soderstrom is obviously great. Whether there's wind or not, he is hitting balls out of every ballpark right now. Josh Naylor, a little indifferent about. I think highly of Max Meyer. So
speed demon, Josh.
Yeah, Naylor. Speed demon. He is stealing a lot of bases. I think Manzardo is definitely interesting against Kramer. He has basically been all or nothing. I mean, averaging a strikeout per game. He has gotten on base quite a bit. Walks. I mean, his walks are high up there, but 6 of 9 hits this year have been for extra bases. So obviously there's tournament appeal there. I like Goldie against the lefty. He's leading off. Yandy Diaz is probably the guy for me in this range. I mean, dude, Sean Newcomb, and I feel like I said this to you or somebody in beginning of the year. He's just not a good pitcher. And, obviously injuries have...
He had a really good spring.
And
that's what won him the 5th job. But Brian Bayo is back next week, and I guarantee you that Sean Newcomb is not on this roster.
Yeah, this is his final start for the time being. Yandy's been really good. Obviously, we kind of mentioned how Tampa's lineup could look way different with a lefty on the mound, and it looks way different. Curtis Mead is hitting second for everything you need to know there.
Yeah, Noah Ronda today, big sad.
Yeah, Noah Ronda, but Yandy's been awesome. Outside of all the swag that he has without his top buttons being buttoned, we're in the midst of one of those Yandy swinging at first pitch and hitting him out of the yard stretches that he goes on every year.
Always said Yandy Diaz is the strongest man that doesn't homer.
That doesn't homer. So yeah, at his home ballpark, leading off against a guy that just is not a big league pitcher. That's where I'd probably lean first. That's actually kind of where I have in my current construction. That's where I've gone as well.
Sure. Ownership for first base today. Obviously, there's Ohtani, but Yandy is number 2 in that group. Then it's kind of the value range. I do think you could go Ryan O'Hearn against Gavin Williams at $3,900. I don't mind getting to that spot. Curtis Mead at 34. People are getting to. If you're not in on Littell, eventually either Tristan Casas is broken or he's going to break out. $3,400 for him in that ballpark. Luke Raley's actually getting a little bit of love today as well, around 10% against Martinez. We do like that ballpark in Cincinnati. And then I've highlighted Matt Mervis. I'll save everybody the Baseball Savant page, but a lot of hard contact, a lot of barrels, a lot of good exit velo here. If you're not playing Brandon Pfaadt today and you think maybe he's going to have some issues against those lefties, Matt Mervis at 3,200, homers in 3 of the last 4 games.
Yeah, just power.
Yep, agreed. Anything
else? Power. Also, might strike out for.
Good.
Yeah, I don't mind a Rowdy Tellez punt.
Sure. 2,200. Again, getting hitters in that ballpark, right, against that pitcher. So I'm good with it. Go on over to second base. Jazz is your top guy. McLean, 53. Edmund, Michael Garcia. We had our guy Espenny ask about Kyron Paris versus Luis Rengifo. What are your thoughts here a second?
Yeah, I mean, I like McLean's positional spot in the lineup. I don't like the price. I don't mind Ahmed Rosario, but we know he's going to be pinch hit for if a righty comes in. I prefer Rengifo to Kyron Paris. 1, he's cheaper. 2, he's hitting in a higher spot in the lineup and will absolutely correlate better with your stacks. Mm-hmm. Like, I think pretty much like the only thing you're hanging your hat on with Kyron Paris is that he's been better than Rengifo, but that's it. Like, Rengifo has a long history of hitting lefties well. He's cheaper, better correlated with your stack. So I understand like all the Kyron Paris stuff and how good he's been. And you even said it, Sean, like you can play them both if you'd like. If I'm picking between them, I go Rengifo over Kyron.
Yep. Historically, Kyron Paris is off to a crazy hot start. His batting average in balls in play is over 400. Those are things that just aren't going to continue. You're going to see some regression. 5 strikeouts over his last 10 at-bats. There's a guy that couldn't make contact. He could not hit baseball at the minor league level at all. A 230 career minor league hitter. Under 200 batting average in his brief major league stints. Like what we were seeing felt, impossible, and it kept happening. But I think we're starting to see the other shoe fall here with Kyron Paris. Again, you can spend up if you want. I also like Edmundo Sosa, really good against lefties historically at $3,700 here.
Anthony likes Edmundo Sosa too. Anthony likes all Philly.
Yeah, I could get behind it. Again, I think there's certainly cases to be made on this slate to really play anybody. You mentioned like Romy Gonzalez and how well he's hit. He's hit a lot better against lefties than righties, but he's also just hitting. So maybe it doesn't really matter too much when you have Zach Littell on the mound.
Yeah, and Zach Littell hasn't been good against either split this year. So if you want to play Romy 35, I don't hate it. If you want to play Gavin Lux 33, I don't hate it. Like I'd probably, in a stack that I'm using, I'd probably play either of them if I need some value.
Lux coming off of a 4-4-4 game there, so I could see it happening. Anything else at second?
No.
Third base, we talked about Jose Ramirez at 57. You've mentioned Devers at 48. Hard not to like Caminero against Newcomb at 45. Then you highlighted Jorge Polanco last night on the show, forced to hit left-handed. So you got that righty-lefty matchup in Cincinnati at $4,200.
Yeah, I mean, I'm good with spending up at the position because there's obviously a lot of high ceiling players like Jose Ramirez, Rafi Devers, Eugenio has a 3 home run game. Um, like Caminero is going to hit a ball 500 feet if Newcomb throws a 90-mile-an-hour meatball to him. But yeah, I like Jorge Polanco. It's funny. I remember Nick Martinez as a ground ball pitcher, and I think Keith even said that earlier. Last year, Nick Martinez had a 41% fly ball rate. It's 42 again this year with only 30% on the ground. Like, that is just not going to be a good recipe in that ballpark, right? Like, if Nick Martinez doesn't go back to the ground ball pitcher he was, he's going to have trouble. And if Polanco is, obviously he's comfortable from the left side because he's hitting the way he's hitting. Hitting second, he fits a lot of what you and I liked this morning.
Yeah.
In terms of like connecting. Raleigh's hitting third, J-Rod's hitting first. Like, he is the perfect connector for just that 1, 2, 3 stack. And obviously, if you wanted to add on, we're going to talk Randy, I'm sure, and we talked Rayleigh already. So he fits builds perfectly at $4,200 here.
Sure. You can obviously also play Rengifo and Sosa. Yes, Anthony Sosa is in the lineup. Yep. Hitting $3,700. Excuse me. Moore's also been really good. Now he's a righty here, but 2 homers last night, 3 hits. Obviously, he spiked up the batting average, but when he's getting consistent at bats this year, hasn't been too bad. If you wanted a little cheaper spot to that Seattle lineup, Brian Hayes is leading off today, $3,600. Again, don't really want Pittsburgh, but he is leading off. Anything else for you at third today?
Dylan Moore is the most hilarious baseball player to me because I always feel like he only does things in bunches. Like, when he homers, he steals also, or like when he homers, he double down. Like, I feel like this has been the Dylan Moore trend for years. Like, when you get a Dylan Moore game, you get a game. Like, he is going nuclear. I don't think so. Josh Young is still too cheap. I know Soriano's been a good pitcher, but no one's going to play him, and he's still
no one's going to play with a righty on the mound. So
he's a good hitter hitting in the middle of their lineup. So if you want to get a cheap good hitter instead of like playing, I mean, he's in platoon guy range, and he's like not platoon guy. He's like good player guy.
Ben Williamson, I'm in price in 8th for the Seattle here today. All right, let's go on over shortstop. Mookie, Bobby, Ellie, Gunnar, Trey.
All your best friends on a first name basis here, John.
Whoever you want.
My opinion hasn't changed on Ellie De La Cruz, and get Bryce Miller away from that ballpark. Like, hasn't changed at all. I think Ellie is as good a spend up on today's slate, and typically, like, if it's not elite pitcher, then Ellie has like as high ceiling as anyone on the slate, right? Just with his power speed combo. So he'd be 1 for me. Mookie's probably 2, but I still feel the same way as I did last night. I have a hard time telling you no to basically anyone 4K and up. That includes Jose Caballero. Basically,
I was gonna say Caballero is your current chalk shortstop by 5%. So
I think up, like Caballero and up, are like elite plays. I mean, this guy gets on and he steals a base. So
he's got 1,000 OPS.
I know, it's crazy. It's crazy. Built off a grand slam, but he has been good.
In that triple where they remove Caminero for defense, and
then the pinch hit.
Caballero goes and triples.
Yeah.
Story is also out there in ownership today at 4,200 if you're going against Littell there. Adames versus a righty, has some power. Anything else? Would you play Hamilton, another speed, like a cheaper Caballero, right? Like, gets on base, will steal.
No, I'm spending up at this. I'm spending up at this position. I'm not even. Too many guys. It's too many names or too many guys when you were straight up just naming them by their first name. Like, why are we? This is a spend up position today.
I agree. All right. Well, outfield's sort of the same way, right? You can pretty much play any outfielder up over 5K here today. I mean, the Angels are where the chalk goes, but there's Judge and Ohtani.
Angels in the outfield?
Yeah. Oh, Judge and Ohtani. Corbin Carroll's really good, obviously. Trout's $5,900. I mean, I get it, right? This isn't like vintage Mike Trout here.
Don't do this. Don't
hitting 180.
John.
Hitting 180. I don't know. 59?
You said
59? 59?
You said when all the way back at catcher, if you remember that part of the show, when we were talking Travis d'Arnaud, you said everything is cured by Patrick Corbin. You also first off, like top of the show, said happy Patrick Corbin Day. You have twice referenced that Patrick Corbin is absolutely awful. And Mike Trout is homering. If he hits 2 home runs and strikes out 4 times today, and he's 2 for 6, it doesn't matter that he went 2 for 6.
I'd rather play. Twice. I think I'd rather play Ward and Soler for cheaper, and then
I don't disagree.
Play like a Judge or a Carroll or something here.
I don't disagree. But what you are doing is malpractice. You cannot just sit there and say, Mike Trout 59. No, you can't. Because if he has 2 home runs off Patrick Corbin, this is criminal. This is criminal. I need to
7 on the road. You know,
officer, arrest this man.
Hold on. What's his BVP? Let's solve this now. You know, let's just Grande's gone. Okay, can't talk.
I'm here. I'm one of the Angels in the outfield. Just telling you. Yeah.
All right. All right. Any of the guys up over 5K except for Cody Bellinger. Quan, J-Rod, Wood.
He has been awful.
He's been horrific.
He's been horrendous.
Duran, O'Neill Cruz has been really bad as well. He's been walking a ton, but not great. Rooker, Trout, Schwarber, Carroll, Judge, Ohtani. Play whatever one fits your stack. Feel pretty good about it. Lee has been awesome. Jung-Hoo Lee hit in the middle of that 49ers. Jeez. Giants lineup has been obviously really good. You have Butler leading off here. Willier, we've talked about. Again, a lot of good options in the outfield on a large slate like this, especially given the matchups of who's on the mound today.
Yeah, I would like to. We didn't exactly highlight Julio. I would like to go back to Julio at 5K. Sure. I think he's like one of my favorite. I guess you can consider him like spend ups of the day. I mean, dude, get this man outside of Seattle, and he is just a different player. Hit 300 on the road last year, had 850 OPS, 220 ISO the year prior, and then his rookie year away from home, 283, 191 ISO. I mean, he has just been snake bit by bad ballpark, and now you're dropping him into best ballpark. And this is someone that everyone pegged as like one of the most talented players in baseball, sure, who just happens to play in the crappiest hitting environment in the game. Like, he's in this ballpark. Like, if it was a ballpark specific pricing algorithm, he'd be $6,000, but it's not. Sure. So I just wanted to give him a little more due before moving on further. Okay. But I do like your Jung-Hoo call. Obviously, Ward and Soler are going to be 1,000% rostered. And if they both home run, you're dead in the water. So,
$4,300 and $4,200.
Let's do this exercise.
Okay.
And it's impossible. You can only play one of them. Who are you playing?
Soler.
Okay. I'll split the difference there and go Ward, but I understand why. Soler has like a 200 ISO against lefties like every year.
Okay.
So,
Alex Call has hit lefty as well in his career, hasn't he? It's kind of been his jam. He's leading off. If you're going against Bailey Falter today, I don't necessarily hate that.
Yeah, he's answered the call against lefties.
Yeah, he has. Morel's on a heater, so you got him against Newcomb at $4,300. Friedel's leading off against Miller. If you like the Cincinnati stack, you might as well get the leadoff hitter there. Yaz leading off against Nola. Again, he's been pretty good. Anything else in this mid-range for you?
Nothing. I mean, I'd play Randy. Randy's been fine, especially it's more on the base paths, but we know Randy has power, 4,200.
excuse me, under $4,000. Again, I think Stower is an interesting play if you're not going Fod. Joe Adell did have the 2 homers in that game against Patrick Corbin there, $3,500. Kerstad homered the other day. You mentioned Luke Raley at first. Anything else in this like low 3K tier?
I mean, Jock Jams has been terrible, but he's hitting 3rd for Texas. Angel Martinez is absolutely destroying everything in sight. Dean Kramer has not been great. Hitting in the middle-ish of that Cleveland lineup. Austin Hayes, you gave a shout out on the preview show. I like this connecting stack. I don't love Cincy's lineup in general, but I do like that he's hitting behind Ellie De La Cruz. He's definitely going to be the guy getting the most pitches to hit in that lineup, just considering he's probably getting more than Ellie is. But I like that connector. Jesus Sanchez, if you believe in Brandon Pfaadt's regression, there's a lot to believe there because he hasn't looked great. So I don't mind the Jesus.
I mean, this dude hits like laser beams.
Yeah, he hits a lot and like just really powerful player. Also fast, sneaky speed. That almost 20 stolen bases last year too. So
I mean, if you think the lefties are actually give him a problem, you have a lot of them. Dude, you have Mervis, Stowers, and Sanchez, 2, 3, 4, all from the left side. Actually, Xavier Edwards leads off, switch hitter. They're just throwing a whole bunch of lefties at them there.
Do you want to hear the lefty numbers for Pfaadt this year?
Yeah.
Or lefties against Pfaadt, I should say. So lefties against Pfaadt, and it goes without saying he's been lucky. All the peripheral numbers suggest Brandon Pfaadt's been really lucky. 226 BABIP. This is against left-handed hitters. 226 BABIP. Obviously, great batted ball luck there. 289 ISO. Expected ISO, because 289 is terrible. Expected ISO, 325.
Yeah.
358 WOBA. Pretty bad. 406 expected WOBA for Brandon Pfaadt. So, not a lot to like when you're facing a lineup that has as many lefties as they do, and not to forget, like Xavier Edwards leading off from the left side. So, I mean, their whole top half of the lineup is just going to hit from the left side.
Yeah, I promised myself I wouldn't do Baseball Savant, but I'm just going to show you the Jesus numbers from last year because they're just insane red power out of this guy. If my computer will cooperate with me here, we'll share this tab. I mean, outside of the sweet spot, right? We know he's a kind of a big strikeout guy. Bat speed, 90 percentile, hard hit, 95, exit velocity, 93 percentile, exit velo, 343 expected WOBA there, 468 expected slugging. So a very powerful guy. You see the spray chart, a lot of deep home runs on that spray chart there. So I do think that there's some Sanchez is a great home run value there.
You know what could answer the sweet spot issues, John?
What's that?
Torpedo bat.
Good. It's true. Let's see if he's using the torpedo bat or not. Beto's 20% owned, says Anthony. Yeah. Beto's popular here today. Said Mo, asked Eric.
Fine.
Yeah. Stack Seattle and Robbie Ray with Beto. We've talked enough Seattle today. We like Beto. Robbie Ray has strikeout upside. Don't hate it. Plugged in Liam Hicks at catcher.
I like, by the way, everything. Yeah, he's a min salary for Miami. Lefty, by the way.
Yeah.
I like everything. That whole Anthony blurb.
Yeah.
really speaks to me, by the way.
Yeah. All right, let's get our lineup build here. Man, so we're definitely doing Beto because we both agreed there. And then is this Soriano? Are we doing the Ray thing? What are we doing?
I mean, who is your favorite SP1/2 today? We'll just call Beto our SP1 because he's the one we agreed on the most.
I don't even know. I think it's Mitchell Parker, but I'm not.
Then let's plug Mitchell Parker.
But Ray has the strikeout upside.
Yeah, but you said it could happen for
Yeah, I mean
Mitchell Parker
the
in
one
spot.
team he faced,
Philly
was Philly. He had his most strikeouts and he shut them out over 6 1/3 innings. Lefty versus Philly.
Obviously that's not like exactly like 1-to-1 correlation.
Sure.
I know what you're doing here. Like I completely understand. That is not like, okay, we're gonna pick up Mitchell Parker's stat line and we're gonna place it on Robbie Ray today.
But I'm just saying, if we have a team that struggles against lefty, and we consider Mitchell Parker to be a lesser starting pitcher, he shut them out over 6 1/3.
We do. He also allowed 9 base runners and didn't allow any earned runs. So, like,
you know what? That's what happens sometimes.
Just click it.
All right, so we do that. We do Cal Raleigh. We get in our what if we did like so it's just some power. Sanchez, Soler.
Oh my God, we're doing the Jesus Sanchez thing.
We're just doing some power.
Yeah.
Okay. Ellie. Right. You liked Polanco.
Yeah, or Caminero.
You like J-Rod.
If you want power, Caminero. If you want the
4,500. Just do you have a punt second? Do you have a punt second? Not really.
Kevin Newman.
Yeah, let's get the 9 hitter, wrap it around. We did have the Newman mentioned by Warren here. I'm not really interested in Newman, but
if you played Rengifo at second.
Oh yeah, Rengifo. 52. Get it Friday. I mean, what are we doing? What are we doing? Let's just one off Soderstrom here.
Yeah.
And then that's what we got. We got, if you're comfortable with it, Beto, Parker, Raleigh, Soderstrom, Rengifo, Polanco, Ellie, Sanchez, Soler, and J-Rod. So we got our 3-man Seattle. We got our just one-off power plays. We got a 2-man in LA.
I like it.
Ellie, Sanchez, and Soderstrom is our one-off power guys.
Yeah,
if you wanted lineup correlation, we could get it. We could get like a Mervis or something in there, but
or if you wanted to move Sanchez to Slater, that would be your correlation. But like you don't have to. They're the same exact price. But like
Slater,
yeah, Austin Slater. You would move Jesus Sanchez to Austin Slater. They're the exact same price. That's your LE, your 3-4 Cincinnati. No.
Who are you thinking of? Not Slater. Hayes. You thinking
Hayes? Sorry. Austin Hayes. I'm literally looking at Austin Hayes and I said Slater.
Yeah. No, I'm good. I'm good keeping this here.
Okay.
All right. Beto, Parker, Raleigh, Soderstrom, Rengifo, Polanco, Ellie, Sanchez, Soler, Rodriguez. If you wanted to get up to Ray, you can. You got the extra $300, $400 to do so. Strikeout upside or not. But that's the example lineup that we are going with here today. Fading the Bobby Miller chalk. Will that be our downfall?
Yes.
We'll find out. We will find out. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Our guy Keith's got the playbook live for you. We'll have the updated ownership here momentarily. Stick with the 6:35 roster lock today, everybody. Good luck, and we will be back with the preview show tonight